guys. Hold up, give me un momento. We're just starting this shit up. We are getting lit. Hope everyone's having a great day. I had a great morning, great start to my day today. I went to the gym. I was able to do a bunch of other things. I got home right now. It's like I didn't go home right now, but I got home really early today compared to my normal workouts. I did a superset, which is kind of Rick and dope. Hold up, y'all. Yeah, we're gonna get started right now. Let's just. So today's letter is 15 pages. So we gotta get that butt started hella quick, no cap. Wait up, let's see if it is stop connecting. Hold up, what the freak? What the freak, guys? Wait up. Now we have to reopen this up. This is BS. But I don't know if I want to play IDV today or if I want to play like Dead by Daylight. I'm still kind of or Puyo Puyo Tetris. Hey, that's gas. Straight gas. Puyo Puyo Tetris is beautiful. Yo, what's up, Samantha? How you doing? Okay, my multi-chat is working. Let's go. Everything is up. So, Samantha, I usually do reading in the morning and then I play games after. If you guys want to stay by for the read, we're currently reading Letters from a Stoic. Hi, Lizmo. How's it going? We're reading Letters from a Stoic from Seneca right now. I'm not a chud, but we're gonna. This is the read that I've been doing. We're on letter 94. So this one is 15 pages, and we are about to get started. But if you guys don't want to watch the reading, then come back for when I'm playing games. Thoughts on Spain winning the World Cup? W Spain, W Lamine Yamal. The only reason this is not a communist manifesto. I'm not reading no fucking what's that guy that everyone Karl's or something Marx? Is it Karl's Marx? That guy's a fucking that guy. Too many chuds read him. When are you gonna read it? Fuck no. Yo, Roltz. Hello, Roltz. Oh, Karl Marx. Fuck no, I'm not gonna read bullshit. You have to read a bunch of shit before him, and I'm not gonna do that. It's too much work, and I'm not that into it like that. Like, I am not trying to fully understand a Latug, and you know what I mean? Like, damn, word to bro. Hey, Roltz, what are you doing today, Roltz? Hold up, chat. You have a job? Yo, what? Roltz has a job. That is insane. What the fuck? I didn't. What? Where are you? What the fuck? That is so cool. Is it like a mainstream job or like a niche job that you got put onto? Sorry, Roltz, on not being able to play a bunch of games. My computer's tweaking, bro. Okay, we're about to start. I hope everyone has a great day today, and we are getting started. Letter 94. Where's my pencil at? Mainstream, but I'm chilling right now. Yo, DM me what job you got. I'm so happy for you, Roltz. That is dope. How much do they pay you? Letter 94. I have got to wait to my place at Nomentum. Getting away from what? Guess. The city? No, a fever. And just as it was infiltrating my defenses too. It had already taken a hold on me. My doctor being decided in his opinion that a distributed irregular pulse, its natural rhythm upset, was the start of it. Whereupon I immediately ordered my carriage out, and although my Paulina tried to hold me back, insisted on driving away. I kept saying the same thing as my mentor Galileo. When he started sickening for a fever in Achaia, he immediately boarded a ship, assuring everyone that the disorder was to put down to the place where he was living and not to his constitution. I told Paulina this. She is forever urging me to take care of my health, and indeed, as I come to realize, the way her very being depends on mine. What? Okay. I am beginning in my concern for her and feel some concern for myself. So, although old age has made me better at putting up with a lot of things, here I am coming to lose this advantage of being old. The notion occurs to me that inside this old frame there exists a young man as well, and one is always less serve on a young man. The consequence is that since I haven't managed to get her to put a little more bravery into her love for me, he has a fucking wife. She has managed to induce me to show a little more love and care for myself. Or concessions have to be made to legitimate emotions. There are times when, however pressing one's reason to the contrary, one's dying breath requires to be summoned back and held back even as it is passing one's lips, even if this amounts to torture, simply out of consideration for one's dear ones. The good man should go on living as long as he ought to, not just as long as he likes. The man who does not value his wife or a friend highly enough to stay on a little longer in life, who persists in dying in spite of them, it is thoroughly self indulgent character. This is a duty which the soul should not impose on itself, when it is merely the convenience of near and dear ones that demand it, and one not only if and when it feels the wish to die, but also if and when it has begun to carry out the wish. It should pause a while to fit in with their interests. To return to life for another's sake is a sign of a noble spirit. It is something that great men have done on a number of occasions. Yet to give your old age greater care and attentiveness in the realization that the pleasure pleases any of the persons closest to you, or is in their interests, or would be likely to gratify them. And this in spite of the fact that the greatest reward of that period is the opportunity it gives you to adopt a relatively carefree attitude towards looking after yourself and a more adventurous manner of living. It also, to my kind, a mark of the highest possible kindness. Besides, it brings you more than a little pleasure and recompense. Recompense, for can anything be sweeter than to find that you are so dear to your wife that it makes you dearer to yourself? So it comes about that my Paulina succeeds in making me responsible for anxiety of my own as well as hers on my behalf. I expect you're keen to hear what effect it had on my health. This decision of mine to leave, well, no sooner had I left behind the oppressive atmosphere of the city and that reek of smoking cookers which pour out along with a cloud of ashes all the poisonous fumes they've accumulated in their interiors, whether they are started up, then I noticed the change in my condition at once. You can imagine how much stronger I felt after reaching my vineyards. I fairly waded into my food. Talk about animals just turned out on a spring grass. So by now, I am quite my old self again. The feeling of listlessness, being bodily ill at ease, and mentally inefficient didn't last. I'm beginning to get down to some wholehearted work. This is not something, however, to which mere surroundings are conductive, unless the mind is at its own, disposable, able to, at will to provide its own seclusion, even in crowded moments. On the contrary, the man who spreads his time choosing one resort after another in a hunt for peace and quiet will in every place he visited find something to prevent him from relaxing. The story is told that someone complained to Socrates that traveling around had never done him any good, and received the reply, "What else can you expect, seeing that you always take yourself along with you when you will go abroad?" Wait, what else can you expect, seeing that you always take yourself along with you when you go abroad? What a blessing it would be for some people if they could only lose themselves, as things are these persons are a worry and a burden, a source of demoralization and anxiety to their own selves. What good does it do to you to go overseas to move from city to city? If you really want to escape the things that harass you, what you're needing is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person. Suppose you arrived in Athens, or suppose it's Rhodes. Rhodes? Choose any country you like. Rhodesia. Is that supposed to be Rhodesia? What difference does the character of the place make? You're only importing your own with you. You're You'll still look on wealth as a thing to be valued. Your poverty will be causing you torment. While this being the most pathetic thing about it all, your poverty will be imaginary. However much you possess, there's someone else who has more. And you'll be fancying yourself to be short of things you need to the exact extent to which you lag behind him. Another thing that you'll regard as something to be valued is success in public life, in which case you're going to feel resentment when so and so is elected council, or when so and so is re-elected for that matter, and be jealous whether you see a person's name appearing too often in the honors list. Your ambition will be running at so feverish a pitch that if anyone ahead of you in that race, you'll see yourself as coming last. Death you'll think of as the worst of all bad things, though in fact there's nothing bad about it at all, except the thing which comes before it, the fear of it. You'll be scared. Stiff by illusory as well as genuine dangers, haunted by imaginary alarms. What good will it do to you? I've found a route past all those Argive forts and one escape right through the enemy's line. Virgil Aeneid 3.282-3. Are these puppy ears or moth? They're puppy ears. Do you know Duffy? These are Duffy ears. I got them from Tokyo Disney when I went to Japan. Peace itself will supply you with new fears. If your mind has once experienced the shocks of fright, you'll no longer have any confidence, even in things which are perfectly safe. Once it has acquired the habit of unthinking panic, it is incapable even of attending to its own self-preservation, for it runs away from danger, instead of taking steps to avert them, and we're far more exposed to them once our backs are turned. To lose someone you love is something you'll regard as the hardest of all blows to bear. While all the time this will be as silly as crying because the leaves fall from the beautiful trees that add to the charm of your home. Preserve a sense of proportion in your attitude to everything that pleases you, and makes the most of them while they are at their best. At one moment, chance will carry off one of them, at another moment, another. But the falling of the leaves is not difficult to bear, since they grow again, and it is no more hard to bear the loss of those whom you love and regard as brightening your existence, for even if they do not grow again, they are replaced. Oh shit. That's kind of fucked. Bro, what the fuck? No. What? That is fucked up. Or even they are replaced, man. What the hell? I mean, that kind of makes sense that even loved ones get replaced, but like with another loved one. But like, does that even fix the issue of your loved one being gone? Because like, you can have 1 million loved ones and you cannot care about a single one, or you cannot care about 99,999 of them, but you have one that matters. And when that person matters, those 999 don't even matter. Like, can they really be replaced like a mother or a father? I mean, if you have a stepdad, that can replace a father, but if you don't have if you only have one mom and you don't fuck with your stepmom, right? You're supposed to replace your mother with your stepmom? I do kind of get the point though of what he's trying to make, but it's just like, I don't want to replace the loved ones that I have. Like, I don't want to do that. That is not sick. but their successors will never be quite the same. No, and neither will you. Every day, every hour sees a change in you. Although the ravages of time are easier to see in others in your own case, they are far less obvious, because to you they do not show while other people are snatched away from us. We are being filched away surreptitiously, surreptitiously, reptitos, surreptitiously from ourselves. Are you never going to give any of these considerations any thought and never going to apply any healing treatment to your wounds instead of sowing the seeds of worry for yourself by hoping for this or that or despairing of obtaining this or that other thing? If you're sensible, you'll run the two together and never hope without an element of despair, never despair without an element of hope. What good has travel of itself ever been able to do anyone? It has never acted as a check on pleasure or a restraining influence on desires. It has never controlled the temper of an angry man or quelled the reckless impulses of a lover. Never, in fact, has it rid the personality of a fault. It has not granted us the gift of judgment. It has not put an end to mistaken attitudes. All it has ever done is distract us from the little while. Though the novelty of our surroundings, like children fascinated by something they haven't come across before, the instability, moreover, of a mind which is seriously unwell, is aggravated by it, the motion itself increasing the fitfulness and restlessness. This explains why people are seeing out for a place with the greatest of enthusiasm, are often more enthusiastic about getting away from it like migrant birds. They fly on away even quicker than they came. Travel will give you knowledge of other countries. It will show you mountains whose outlines are quite new to you, stretches of unfamiliar plains, valleys, whether or watered by perennial streams. It will allow you to observe the unique features of this or that river, and the way in which, for example, the Nile rises in summer flood, or the Tigris vanishes from sight, and at the completion of its journey through hidden subterranean regions is restored to view when its volume is undiminished, or the way the meander theme of every poet early training exercises wins about loop after loop and again is carried close to its own bed, and then once more diverted into a different course before it can flow into its own stream. But travel won't make a better or saner man of you. For this we must spend time in study and in the writings of wise men to learn the truths that have emerged from their researches and carry on the research ourselves. For the answer that have not yet been discovered, this is the way to liberate the spirit that still needs to be rescued from its miserable state of slavery. So long in fact, as you remain in ignorance, high page, of what to aim, at what to avoid, what is essential and what is superfluous, what is upright or honorable conduct and what is not. It will not be traveling, but drifting. All this hurrying from place to place won't bring you any relief, for you're traveling in the company of your own emotions, followed by your troubles all the way. If only they were really following you, they'd be farther away from you. As it is, they're not at your back, but on it. That's why they weigh you down with just the same uncomfortable chafing whether you are. It's medicine, not a particular part of the world. What a person needs if he's ill. Suppose someone has broken his leg or dislocated a joint. He doesn't get into a carriage or board a ship. He calls in a doctor to have the fracture set or the dislocation reduced. Well then, when a person's spirit is wretched or broken at so many points, do you imagine that it can be put right by a change of scenery? That's a sort of trouble isn't so serious that it can't be cured by an outing. I don't know. What the fuck? I mean, like low key, if you're cooked, you just gotta like tap in. Saranke. Thank you, Paige. You just gotta tap in. Like, I guess, like, well, if your soul is broke, or if your person's spirit is wretched or broken at so many points, do you imagine that it can be put right by a change of scenery? That the thought of trouble isn't so serious, then it can't be cured of it by an outing. Traveling doesn't make a man a doctor or a public speaker. There isn't a single art which is acquired merely by being in one place rather than another. Can wisdom, then the greatest art of all, be picked up in the course of taking a trip? Take my word for it, the trip doesn't exist. That can set you beyond the reach of craving fits of temper or fears. If it did, the human race would be off there in a body, so long as you carry the sources of your troubles about with you. Those troubles will continue to harass and plague you you wander or land whether you wander on land or on sea. Does it surprise you that the running away doesn't do you any good? Okay. The things you're running away from with you all the time. The things you are running away from are with you all the time. Wow, that's that's kind of deep. What you must do then is mend your ways and get rid of the burden you're carrying. Keep your cravings within. Safe limits. Scour every trace of evil from your personality. If you want to enjoy your travel, you must make your traveling companion a healthy one. So long as you associate with a person whose means and grasping you will remain a money minded individual yourself. So long as you keep arrogant company, just as long will conceit stick to you. Cruelty you'll never say goodbye to with it while you share the same roof with a torturer. Familiarity with adulterers will only inflame your desires. If you wish to be stripped of your vices, you must get right away from the examples others set of them. The miser, the swindler, the bully, the cheat, who would do you a lot of harm by simply being near you. Are actually inside of you. More to better company, live with the Catos, the Laulius, the Tubero, if you like Greek company, to attach yourself to Socrates and Zeno. The one would I teach you how to die, should it be forced upon you. The other how to die before it is forced upon you. Live with Chrysippus, live with Poseidonus. They will give you knowledge of man and the universe. They will tell you to be practical philosopher. It's so that is actually funny. And basically live with good influences. What is that fit? It's tough, right? KK gotta go at my friend's house. Bye. They will give you a knowledge of man and the universe. They will tell you to be a practical philosopher, not just to entertain your listeners to a clever display of language, but to steel your spirit, embrace it against whatever threatens. For the only safe harbor in this life's tossing, troubled sea is to refuse to be bothered about what the future will bring and to stand ready and confident, squaring the breast to take without sulking or flinching, whether fortune hurls at us, whether she created us, nature endowed us with a noble aspiration as just as she gave certain animals ferocity, others timidity, others cunning. So to us she gave a spirit of exalted ambition, a spirit that takes us in search of life, of not the greatest safety, but the greatest honor, a spirit very like the universe, which so far as mortal footsteps may, it follows and adopts as a model. It is a self-assertive. It feels assured of honor and respect. It is master of all things. It is above all things. It should it should accordingly give in to nothing. In nothing should be seen as see a burden calculated to bow the shoulders of a man. Shapes frightening to the sight, hardship and death are not are not wait ugh are not so at all if one can break through the surrounding darkness and look directly at them. Many are the things that have caused terror during the night and been turned into matters of laughter with the coming of daylight. Shapes frightening to the sight, hardship and death. Our vigil perfectly rightly says that they are frightening not in reality but to the sight. In other words, that they seem so but in fact are not. Just what is there about them that is as terrifying as legend would have us believe? Why, Lucilius, I ask you, why should any real man be afraid of hardship, or any human being afraid of death? I constantly meet people who think that what they themselves can't do can't be done. Can't be done. Who say that to bear up under the things we Stoics speak of is beyond the capacity of human nature. How much more highly I rate these people's abilities than they do themselves. I say that they are just as capable as others of doing these things, but won't in any event what person actually trying them has found them prove with trying them has found them prove beyond him. Who hasn't noticed how much easier they are in the actual doing? It's not because they're hard that we lose confidence. They're hard because we lack the confidence. If you still need an example, take Socrates, an old man who had known his full share of suffering, who had taken every blow life could inflict, and still remained unbeaten, either by poverty, a burden for him aggravated by domestic worries, or by constant hardships, including those endured on military service. Apart from that, from what he had to contend with at home, whether one thinks of his wife with her shrewish ways and nagging tongue, or his intractable children, more like their mother than their father. His whole life was lived either in wartime or under tyranny or under a democracy that outdated even wars and tyrants in its cruelties. The war went on for 27 years. After the fighting was ended, the state was handed over to the mercy of the 30 tyrants, a considerable number of whom were hostile to him. The final blow was his conviction and sentence on the most serious of charges. He was accused of blasphemy and of corrupting the younger generation, whom it was alleged he turned into rebels against God, their fathers, and the statue. After that came the prison and the poison, and so little effect did all this have on Socrates' spirit. It did not even affect the expression on his face. What a rare and wonderful story. What a rare and wonderful story of achievements. To the very last, no one ever saw Socrates in any particular mood or gaiety or depression. Though all the ups and downs of fortune, his was a level temperament. Fortune his with was a level temperament. Would you like another example? Take the modern one of Marcus Cato, with whom fortune dealt in an even more belligerent and unrelenting fashion at every point she stood in his way, even at the end, at his death. Yet he demonstrated that a brave man can live in defiance of fortune and can die in defiance of fortune. The whole of his life was pass either in civil war or in conditions of developing civil conflict. And of him, no less than of Socrates, is it is possible to say that he carried himself clear of slavery. A point of textual uncertainty occurs here in the text. Campbell follows Assay's suggestion reading of servituti sed educice, unless perhaps you take the view of Pompey, Caesar, and Crassus were friends of freedom. When his country was in a state of constant change, no one ever saw a change in Cato. In every situation he was placed in, he showed himself always the same man. Always the same man, whether in office as praetor in defeat at the polls, under attack in court, as governor in his province, on the public platform, in the field, or in death itself. In the moment, too, of panic for the Republic, when Caesar stood on the one side, beckoned by 10 legions of the Chun, possibly DVD, finest fighting men in the entire resources in support of foreign countries as well. And on the other stood Pompey. Oh, you have to go in a bit. It's okay. I love you, Chun. Chun Maru. Chun Maru. I'll be on later. I'm not gonna be on the rest of the week. I'm gonna be working at Comic-Con, but I might IRL stream. If you'll tap into that. I'll IRL stream Comic-Con. Yeah, I have an iPhone though. Let's hope there's good reception, and if it's ass, we'll just low-key YOLO. You'll be there. I love it. I love to see it. How are you working there? I work for a staffing company. That's how I worked for FIFA. So like, I worked for FIFA. I work at Disneyland. Every event that Disneyland has, I'm working again at D23, and yeah, it's my mom put me on game because my mom is like a nurse. So when they were doing like COVID tests, she was giving COVID tests because at the time she did not, or she, dude, I thought you did PT. I do both. But this week we're gonna take a break from it. I mean, I'm gonna text them like, oh, we're going because my mom decided we're gonna go. So after that, I'm going back to my usual schedule. I think I'm getting like 1,500 for this though, which is pretty dope. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, I mean, the only downside is that he'll be stiff as fuck. But like, I already told him that this ahead of time, so I'll just have to be an extra week with him, and then I can start streaming it. Because we just gotta get him comfortable as fuck. Finest fighting men in the entire resource, and support of foreign countries as well. And on the other stood Pompey by himself, a match for all comers. And when people were moving to join either the one or the other, Cato all of his own established something of a party pledged to fight for the Republic. If you try to picture the period of yourself, you will see on the one side the populace, the mob, all agog for revolution. On the other, the time-honored elect of Rome, the aristocracy and knighthood. And two forlorn figures, Cato and republicanism, between them. You will find it an impressive sight, I can assure you, as you watch. The son of Atreus, the king premium, the Achilles worth with both, Virgil Aeneid I.458. For there was Cato denouncing each of them, trying to disarm the pairs of them, and the way he cast his voice between them, it is if Caesar wins, I kill myself. If Pompey I go into exile. Holy, wait up, that's tough. Wait up, if Caesar wins, I kill myself. If Pompey I go into exile. Hold up, that is a bar. What had a man to fear who, win or lose, had dictated to himself such a choice of fates as might have been decreed him by an utterly exasperated enemy, and that is how he came to die. Carrying out his own self sentence, you will see too the capacity of man for hardship on foot. At the head of his troops, he crossed the desert of North Africa. You see that thirst can be endured as well, always in armor trailing over a sun baked plateau. The remnants of a beaten army, an army without supplies. He was invariably the last to drink whatever they came upon water. You see that a man can think equally little of either the discussion of office or the stigma of rejection. On the day of his election defeat, he played fives at the place of polling. You see that men can defy the might of their superiors, for with no one daring offend either Caesar or Pompey, except to curry favors with the other. Otto challenged the pair of them simultaneously. You see that a man can think as little of death as of exile. He condemned himself to both, and war in the meantime. We then can show as spirited an attitude to just the same things if we will only choose to slip the yoke from our necks. But first, we have to reject the life of pleasures. They make us soft and womanish. What the fuck? Show biceps, I'm in a bad mood. Sorry, I have a girlfriend. They make us soft and wait, let me just fucking they make the soft and womanish. That is fucking hilarious. They are insistent in their pleasures, in their demands, and what is more, require us to make insist demands on fortune. And then we need to look down on wealth, which is the wage of slavery. Gold and silver and everything else that clutters our prosperous homes should be discarded. Freedom cannot be won without sacrifice. If you set a high value on her, everything else must be valued a little. Okay. Holy smokes, guys. That was a banger letter. Where do I get to the annex? Okay. So we're at 229 and we need to get to 279. We're about to finish this, guys. We are about to finish this. This is beautiful. Well, we are going to start the game. People on YouTube, if you have not yet, we're going to be gaming on Twitch and TikTok. Thank you, guys. Hold up. We are